original Perfect Blue book and only had the mostly accurate preliminary script to go off of, which involved a lot of idols and a lot of blood, neither of which he was especially interested in, Kon convinced the author to let him change the story into something that he thought would work better in animation, and he introduced most of the psychological and experimental mind-bending aspects to the story, which he had already been playing with in his manga Opus and in his work on JoJo, and which he would push to new levels across the rest of his work. His storyboards practically look like the finished animation, and so his creative mark on every image of the film is indelible. It may as well be considered a one-to-one adaptation of a manga that he drew, but in storyboard form. After Satoshi Kon's death, Masao Maruyama spent nearly a decade, even through his stepping down from Madhouse and the formation of Mappa Studio, looking for a director who could finish Kon's last film, The Dreaming Machine, and he never succeeded. Nothing else which even remotely resembles Kon's work has been created by anyone else, and if anything, we've gotten farther away from any semblance of those stylistic ideas appearing in animation. In fact, Kon's influence has been more clearly recognized in live-action film, from the likes of diehard fans of his like Darren Aronofsky and the Wachowskis, who are also directors whose works helped me to find my place in reality as I ground through the rest of high school, which is when I developed the lifestyle I now still have of looking for myself all the time in art and analyzing what I find online. Mima's conversations with the ghost of herself as a pop idol are the scenes most mysterious and open to interpretation in the film. So let me posit my theory, which mainly boils down to that this is a weird form of acting practice. Acting doesn't necessarily require a total mental break to accomplish, but I really think it must help, that there's very much a kind of person that finds themselves in front of cameras. Again, I run the risk of oversimplifying if I start trying to give a diagnosis, but what I'm trying to communicate is mostly that I think what Mima experiences here is a version of a thing that plenty of people have probably dealt with, especially within her industry. I think her decision to stick with it in the end is because she really understands that all of this is part and parcel of the experience of getting to her goal, making her almost psychopathically driven if you think about it unsympathetically. After Mima throws a fit in her room about how she didn't really want to do that scene is when we first see the apparition of her old self, teasing her that she is no longer her true self. Immediately after this, we get to watch the press tour where Mima tells a truth that sounds like a lie. She had reservations, of course, but she knew what this scene would do for her career, and it worked. So she gets to talk about it as the huge success in her intention that it was, aside from that emotional scar that it left on her and those who project onto her as though she were themselves. I don't think that the Mima who is bragging about the scene on TV and the Mima who is lamenting the experience are incongruous with one another. It's